the story of how Sir William Herschel, a famous astronomer, made a fascinating discovery about light and heat. Sir William Herschel loved to study the stars and the sky. He lived in the 18th and 19th centuries. Herschel is most famous for discovering a new planet, Uranus, but he also made some other impressive discoveries. Herschel was always curious about how things worked. He knew about Sir Isaac Newton, who had shown that when light passes through a prism, it spreads out into a rainbow of colors, which we call a spectrum. But Herschel started to wonder if there was more to light than just these colors. One day, Herschel got a great idea. He thought, what if different colors of light have different amounts of heat? To test this, he decided to use a prism to create a color spectrum and then measure the temperature of each color. Herschel set up his experiment by placing a prism in a sunny spot so that it would spread sunlight into a spectrum on a table. Then he used thermometers to measure the temperature of each color. He also placed a thermometer just outside the red end of the spectrum, where there was no visible light, as a control to see what temperature the room was at. As Herschel measured the temperatures, he noticed something strange. The thermometers in the light, from violet to red, got warmer, but the one just beyond the red end of the spectrum, where there was no visible light, showed the highest temperature of all. This was a big surprise. It meant that there was some kind of light that we can't see, and it carried more heat than the light we can see. Today, we call this infrared light, which is just beyond the red part of the spectrum. Infrared means below red in Latin, because it's just below the red light in the spectrum. We can't see this light, but we can feel it as heat. It's like the warmth you feel from the sun on your skin, even when you can't see the sunlight. Herschel's discovery was important. It showed us that there's more to light than what meets the eye. Excuse the pun. This opened up a whole new area of science for people to explore, including things like heat cameras that can see heat the way our eyes see light. Herschel's work helped us understand that there are many types of light, not just the ones we can see. Besides infrared, there are things like ultraviolet light, X-rays, and radio waves, which all make up what's called the electromagnetic spectrum. Herschel's curiosity and his simple experiment with a prism and thermometers led to a huge leap in our understanding of the world. It's a great example of how asking a simple question and trying to find the answer can lead to amazing discoveries. So, Herschel's discovery is not just about some invisible light. It's a story about curiosity, exploring the unknown, and how even the simplest experiments can change how we see the world.